Alright. So basically, first you place the smith, then you prepare your Griffith. You place your Griffith towards the center near the little golden pentagon. Right here. And yeah, low-key Griffith with Monarch is so handy. Such a really good unit. Oh, sorry, I just zoned out. I was like yawning. So basically, it's just for placing 1k, for spending 1k yen, you're getting a unit. You can just get 50k DPS just instantly like that. That's how stupid he is. But here we're placing Sukuna here. We're going to give him the range buff. And it doesn't matter if he's getting branded right now. We're going to replace him later when Griffith goes to light mode. So don't worry about that. Just set him to last and let him do his job. And okay, a few times he might just get deleted by Griffith demons, but it happens, and it's just those demons are so annoying. I think it happened in this instance right here, but it's fine because we got the dark form, so Griffith's damage was he started attacking. And it should be any more now. See, so he's like just here is doing 10k DPS basically. You can give him the damage buff from the Smith I meant, and then you can just put your Sukuna in front a bit. So like here, Sukuna. Let me first check that. Set him to last as well and give him the range buff. And damage buff as I said on Griffith. And then as soon as he transfers to light mode, you give this damage buff again. So yeah, look, you see when Griffith goes to light form, it's just it's just brain dead. And yeah, look, 56k DPS just for spending 1k yen. It's so stupid. And from here on out, for the next like 4 minutes, I can just chill, maybe 5 minutes. And Griffith alone just deals with it. And over time, he just ramps up damage, ramps up. From placing units, so he's branding them, other stuff as well. And since you're running no farm, you're quite like yen, like you need each and every bit of yen. And for this team, you have enough yen for each and every one of them. So what I'd say is just you can't get the Griffith summon where you sacrifice allies for the extra damage, of course. So you just have to make sure you just don't waste any extra yen. Because ideally, what you'd want to do is just you see the demon spawning in, just place a unit in front of them, and that unit will get sacrificed, and Griffith will gain 2% damage. There's a 1% damage and 2% range, something like that. But it can give you a good damage buff on him. So yeah. Make sure the Sukin is on last. And I was contemplating getting to upgrade 3, but no point, because the first unit we're maxing is Mark. But give your damage buff to Griffith, and see his damage rolls up to 477k, and he's at 85k DPS. Very stupid to be honest. Very stupid. His range is kind of crazy as well, so yeah, it makes it even better. But yeah, you can see that I'm just chilling. Just, you can see Kage's DPS just keeps rising. And now I was already at 501k damage. It's so stupid. You see the damage just keeps increasing. 90k DPS now. It's so stupid. And that Sukuna got deleted. We love Griffith. Just demons. But yeah, a lot of you guys might be thinking, why am I bringing on a Stoful? Stoful can apply a 20% damage buff and 10% range buff to all allies, no matter where they are. You know, it's like a map wide buff. As long as you TP a Stoful to them and then teeps them out, they have that buff permanently. That's why it's nice. Also, the spellbook buff just doubles that buff. So for conquest, you can give him 40% damage and 20% range. So that alone gives him a good amount of support. And then the Stoful spear ability, where it basically creates doppelgangers or double bodies of the enemies, and that HP that you see, I think Stoful takes up 15% of the max HP. So let's say a boss has 112 million HP, we'll take about like 17 million off him. So 17 million damage off the boss for free is quite crazy. You just can't complain with that. But yeah, with conquest, when you use his ability, he loses not loses range, he increases range and loses stock. But here you want to be careful. Whenever you see the demons getting close, you just have to sacrifice like that. Ideally, you don't want to be wasting any yen, but if it ever comes to it, where you're desperately need to do it, just do it with Kaguya or Stoful. Once the Stoful is upgraded though, you just don't use a Stoful for that. But here, look at the range. We get Mark maxed. Okay, am I gonna max? Yeah, max soon. And the range, this is just range without any buffers, any range buffs. It's at 1.4x. But I have to make sure, just in case. Just in case. Just to make sure I don't fumble. What you want to do is set your conquest and your um Griffith to strongest priority, because if you set them to last, it's gonna get inflicted and just mess up the targeting with those eclipse demons just rolling around. So make sure to have your Monk and conquest and Griffith to last. Not last, I mean strongest priority, sorry. So you can stay last. Sorry about that. But give everyone the damage buff for now. Then give him conquest the range buff, the orange dragon work. You saw that one. I'm not sure exactly what the name is, but it's the second one from the right. Place these units, get stuff up, and make sure Kaguya is within range, so she also gets the 10% damage, 10% range and 20% damage. So now all units that you have placed are getting this buff. And funny enough, all the units are one placement. There's just 6 total units that never get sold. But you can have Kaguya just following the boss. And once you do have, like, of course, the boss on the path, you can just switch your conquest to boss targeting. You don't have to, but of course, when the boss gets weaker, you're gonna need to do that because they're not gonna be strongest on the pitch. On the pitch, I keep saying pitch, on the map at the time. So it's best to switch them to bosses when you can. And yeah, Kaguya is just doing the job. Just a bit of damage just for the boss, and yeah. You see 93 range, this unit is so stupid. But here we're going to be prioritizing Sukuna as our next unit. And as soon as the boss is dead, we're going to set our conquest to strongest. And here, how it works is, I'm going to say this now. You're going to complain about your Kaguya TPing to the demons. So what I'd say is, wait until the demons get close to the path, and that's when you click TP or use the domain. Because if you do it when they're not close to the path, you're just going to have your Kaguyas in no man's land, which is something you don't want. You see how important it is for the third and I mean the full boss 100%. If you can have Kaguya following from the get-go, you probably can easily kill the wave 40 boss, which seems highly unlikely initially, but you know, even though it's a 112 million HP boss, it's killable, I'm pretty sure. Maybe have Sukuna upgraded to max, and yeah, his damage goes crazy as well. But here, next unit upgrade is a Stoful, get the spellbook and apply the spellbook to Conquest. So it just increases range even more. And once you have that, you can pretty much, yeah, you can pretty much just give the damage buff to conquest, so you don't really have to give the extra range. But the reason I did pick the second masterwork is because it says 20% more damage to enemies who are burning, and Sukuna does apply burn, and you also get the 20% range, so it's a win-win kind of. And here's when you need to be focused. Set this guy to strongest. Use a Sukuna ability whenever you want. Ideally when the boss has lost that initial shield. And you just need the Sukuna ability and the burn to help with the overshield. But you can see we're chipping away at that health a lot, and very quickly, to be fair. And let's see, once the boss is in like a certain path, exactly where he met right now, that's when you switch the buff on your conquest, give him the damage one, so the master gets taken off. See, we're only going to use a Stoful's ability once the overshield is gone, so you'll see how I do it. The first initial spear is pretty good. The other spears I can't really get it too well because there's not really any good path for it, I guess. Okay, now maybe that is on me. Okay, I understand. So the first spear I want you to do it for the second spear as well. And what I mean by that, you'll see by the way I spear the Stoful. Because I do one more spear for the next boss, and I basically hit very minimal enemies, so I recommend doing it the way I'm doing it for this one. So the spear you see for this exact boss, do the same for the wave 40 boss. So Hippogriff here, and use a spear legit diagonally, so it hits a lot of these enemies. And yeah, look, you'll see if you're watching, a lot of those just got flipping hit with the spear, and then you TP your Stofel back here and give the conquest buff. Oh, not here. You couldn't. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you move it just for the conquest buff. But yeah, you have Kage following, and this boss should not be a problem, and you should just end up killing the boss. Sorry if I'm confusing with how the Stofel thing, because I just realized there's legit no point of having the placement I have right now. So yeah, my bad with that one. Set this not conquest, Griffith to first, so you can just track the boss and do a bit of damage on him onto him. And here, when the boss is about to leave range, you can just set the range buff back onto conquest. You see, second master exalts Salamander Dagger, and you just give it over to him. And once the boss is dead and the next boss is being targeted by conquest, you can give the damage buff back. But ideally, I think I just leave the range buff. The boss should die now, and next boss should be approaching soon. See, I cancelled it and I did not give the damage buff. And here's when you want to be technical. Only TP. Well, that one just failed, of course, but only TP when the demons get closer to the path. See, I'm trying to time it perfectly so it matches up. And I'm just waiting for any demons that spawn. But of course, no demons want to spawn. And what I was saying earlier about if I had the Kage from the start, just following the boss, it would have been a lot of damage, extra damage on him. was the 30% damage to the boss plus the nature damage. And yeah. And here I just spear. If you do the initial spear that I did, it'll be a lot better for damage. And now you just give the damage one. You don't have to give the damage one because I don't end up killing the boss. So if you can end up killing the boss, then you go for then you go for damage. But ideally, I would say keep the range one. Give the spell book, and his range is not too bad. You see, and then I switched to the range buff, and yeah. And once the boss leaves the range, you're gonna set your conquest to strongest. And here you can see I still have the sand domain ready, so I just low-key hold off and wait until I'm about to nuke. So yeah, see, set to closest. Yeah, closest works as well. And you can see I get the ability in 30 seconds, which is enough time somehow. Perfect enough time. And yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And turn off auto skip, make sure to turn off auto skip. Make sure, make sure, make sure. See, you can use your ability, and then you use your Sukin ability, but I was fumbling. And then I fumbled here, use the nuke, and the ability. And make sure to click yes. It was such a stupid fumble for me. But yeah, like and subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one. Enjoy.